And replacement of goals by means. Do you know what is that? Education is a major goal, but because of the academic unit, sometimes the means like unit level policy is much more important than the major goal, which is education. So we call it as a replacement of goals by means. So that current academic unit fails to address complexity of contemporary social issues and problems. How to overcome it? We have some strategies like open admission policies, multi-major approaches, or even we developed a new academic unit like interdisciplinary major areas. I think the approach depends on whether it is undergraduate level or graduate level. At the undergraduate level, we have open admission policy or multi-major system. At the graduate level, in many universities, we try to establish a new interdisciplinary unit for graduate education. Also, it depends on the disciplinary areas. In the field of humanities and social science, we like multi-major system. In science and engineering area, in the hard discipline, we like a wider disciplinary domains to help our student. So that how to address these complicated issues in South Korea or in Japan or in the USA, we try to compare how to each individual university address interdisciplinary issues in their level of education, undergraduate or graduate, by their academic discipline areas, social science, humanity, engineering, or science areas, and in different countries. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presentation. First presentation is focusing on engineering field, and presenter is Lee Shin and Enjia Dewey. And second presentation is Shi Tongran, and focusing on the science areas. And third one is Zhou Xiusu, focusing on social science. Fourth one is Li Xin, focusing on the humanities. And fifth one is Nikki Gestino, focusing on the interdisciplinary graduate education. Sherry, welcome our first presenter, Li Xin and Enjia Dewey. Please welcome the two presenters. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Would you like to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing it. Can you see it? Can you see my slides? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Xin Li, and I'm very glad to give the first presentation in the my colleague Anya and I focused our research on diverse strategies for interdisciplinary education in the field of engineering. And here is the outline of my presentation today. Despite that, the notion of interdisciplinarity often refers to education and research. We limited our scope to education only. Interdisciplinary education is generally characterized by a curriculum design covering 2 or more disciplines at both undergraduate and graduate levels. As we know, there is a high demand for interdisciplinary education in the field of engineering because it is an applied science, which means it has a high relevance with industry, society, as well as national development. And here are our research questions. The first one is, what strategies does university use to implement interdisciplinary education in the field of engineering? And the second one is, how do these strategies vary from one higher education system to another at different educational levels? And in order to answer these 2 questions, we adopted a comparative approach by comparing 3 case universities. They are UC Berkeley in the US, University of Tokyo in Japan, and Seoul National University in South Korea. Universities in these 3 countries have very different routes of higher education. Among them, Korea was influenced by both Japanese and the US model. And these three universities are all national or public. However, the share of government's funding in their income varies from 13% to 54% roughly. And we examine the strategies mainly in two dimensions. One is the institutional design for interdisciplinary education, and the second one is the formal organization structure of it. Our first case is the College of Engineering in UC Berkeley. At the undergraduate level, UC Berkeley provides multiple major choices for students to pursue interdisciplinary education. For example, students can apply for a joint major, which provides a curriculum in a hybrid of two major areas in engineering, and they will be conveyed as a single degree after graduation. A double major provides students with a curriculum of two distinct engineering majors for a single degree too. But the simultaneous degree program offers education of two majors from very different colleges or schools in a 4-year curriculum offering a dual degree. In the case of graduate programs, there is a high level of interdisciplinarity in professional master education program. They develop and implement curriculum in very active collaborations with other colleges, research institutes, schools, and even other universities. And doctoral students enjoy high autonomy to design their own interdisciplinary curriculum based on their research interests and purposes. Now I will explain a bit on how is the interdisciplinary education organized in the College of Engineering at UC Berkeley. At the undergraduate level, I mentioned before that there is a type of simultaneous degree program, and here is an example of it, named Berkeley MET. This program provides 7 academic tracks, which are all combinations of business and 1 area of engineering. Faculty members of this program all have single affiliation to their own departments. But at the graduate level, there are several options for interdisciplinary programs. For example, merging technology into design, governance, and social development. And their cooperation partners are very diverse. As you can see, there is College of Environmental Design, Research Center for Developing Economics, and even UC San Francisco. Our second case is the Faculty and Graduate School of Engineering in the University of Tokyo. For undergraduate education, the University of Tokyo adopts a late specialization strategy in their curriculum design to build a broad foundation of multiple disciplines for students. So the undergraduate programs in engineering are roughly divided into 2 phases. At the junior phase, which is in the first and second year, students are required to receive liberal arts education, and the major courses are organized based on specific topics approached from multiple disciplines. When these students enter their senior phase, they are allowed to choose specified majors or fields, and courses basic knowledge of interdisciplinary fields are provided. And after that, students can apply to join a lab or a research center and start to do researches they are interested in. Graduate education is under lab-based management. So courses and researches are primarily organized based on specific research topics, which are generally highly interdisciplinary. Regarding the formal organization, we examine the composition and also the affiliation of faculty members in several departments. We found at least 3 modes of compositions. The first one is a regular department providing both undergraduate and graduate programs named System Innovation. And all faculty members are from different areas, but they are only affiliated to this department. However, in another regular department, only half of the faculty members have single affiliation to that department, and 48% of them are concurrently affiliated to other departments or schools. And there is also a third type of composition in a totally separate interdisciplinary department named Advanced Interdisciplinary Science, and 97% of them have dual affiliation to other departments or faculties. In addition, there are also interdisciplinary programs for graduate students at university level. For example, the Global Leadership Initiative for Age-Friendly Society. This program is joined by one research institute and 9 graduate schools, covering courses in multiple areas. And as you can tell from the name of this program, is highly driven by social demand. And the third case is the College of Engineering in SNU. For undergraduate education, SNU adopts a very similar approach with UC Berkeley, providing a special combined major for sophomore students to get access to interdisciplinary education. And combined major is regarded as an independent major, which can offer a dual degree to students on one diploma. For graduate education, this college offers separate interdisciplinary programs in addition to the regular ones. At the undergraduate level, there are currently 3 combined majors. They have different degrees of interdisciplinarity in curriculum design, and their faculty members all have single affiliation to their own departments. There are strict requirements for minimum credit acquisition from every designated course groups. And at graduate level, there are 4 separate interdisciplinary programs. Take the program of technology, management, economics, and policy as an example. You can see there are 2 types of faculty members affiliation. One has single affiliation to this interdisciplinary program, and the other group is concurrently affiliated to other departments. So if we compare these cases by educational level, we can see some similarities as well as differences. For example, at undergraduate level, SNU and UC Berkeley adopt a very similar strategy to implement the interdisciplinary education in engineering by setting up a formal combination of majors. And the interdisciplinary curriculum is only provided to this specific major. But University of Tokyo has a very different approach. It provides interdisciplinary curriculum for all regular majors through this institution design of late specialization. And faculty members in regular departments have single or dual affiliation to different departments. However, at the graduate level, UC Berkeley and the University of Tokyo share more similarities, especially in high autonomy of students to design their own disciplinary programs or curriculum. And here are some conclusions we can draw from this study. The degree of formalization of interdisciplinary education varies by educational level and country, and we came up with some potential factors that may explain this difference. The first one is the rules of higher education system may affect how academic units are organized in different case universities, and also the degree of government involvement, institutional autonomy, and also cultural pressure of faculty members' commitment to their department, and also the academic identity of faculty may also have influences. So we think further researches are needed to explore more on why these strategies are different among higher education systems. That's all. Thank you
very much. Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Lin. And if you have any question, please raise your hand. We have one question from Ahimad, and anyone else? Oh, is it question or just upload the presentation? Ahimad. I'm not sure. Okay, if you have any question, please let me know. Or the next presentation is in the case of a natural science area. So that I think the engineering area and natural science area, they have much similarities. So that let us invite our second presenter. Our second presenter is Sitong-nan. Please welcome Ms. Sitong-nan.
Thank you. I will share my screen first.
Okay, thank you. While she is preparing her PPT, and then let me briefly introduce Ms. Sitong-nan. Sitong-nan is a PhD student at the Department of Education at Seoul National University. As far as I understand, she is majoring lifelong learning, right? And her research interests include higher education, lifelong learning, as well as global, international, and comparative education. So this topic is exactly what is her research interest. Okay, please welcome Sitong-nan, and then are you ready?
Sorry.
Don't worry, take your time. And first of all, turn on your PPT first. Right?
Yeah.
Make sure it's there.
I have opened my PPT.
Yeah, you opened it, and then at the bottom you have a green screen, right? Green button, green.
No.
화면 공유.
Okay. Sorry.
In the case, don't worry, and we have a third presenter is already ready, I think.
Can you see it?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the delay.
Okay, no
Good
problem.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to discuss and compare different interdisciplinary strategies adopted by 3 universities: Seoul National University, MIT, and the University of Tokyo. Before going directly to the analysis and comparison, I would like to present some background information on interdisciplinarity. So, the first question is, what is interdisciplinarity? In this project, I defined interdisciplinary studies programs as those programs combine 2 or more traditional academic courses of study into a more personalized major. There are primarily 2 forces that have been driven the implementation of interdisciplinarity worldwide. The first one is external political and economic demand, and the second one is the internal epistemological demand. So, what kind of interdisciplinary strategies have been implemented in these 3 universities? Let's go through them one by one. The first case is Seoul National University. At undergraduate level, students can apply for a combined major, a curriculum program that combines at least 2 major programs offered by 2 or more departments, or a curriculum proposed by a student which is approved by the university. However, to apply to one of these programs, students must be in one of the majors that participates in a combined major program. What is more, students will not be awarded a separate diploma for each major they have completed, and all of their majors will be listed on one diploma. Another way is to take a combined minor. Similar to the combined major program, Combined minor programs are only open to students who are members of the departments that make up the combined minors, indicating that the interdisciplinary program is not so flexible. Only students enrolled in the departments providing combined majors or minors programs can participate in them. As you can see, the School of Science in Seoul National University provides 10 undergraduate programs, among which 3 are interdisciplinary programs. To promote more flexible interdisciplinary studies, the College of Liberal Studies was established in 2009. Unlike any other degree programs in Korea, CLS allows students to create their own major, which may encompass programs from both the sciences and the arts. The degree thus offers the opportunity for students to design majors according to their special needs and interests. Students will eventually graduate with bachelors in the College of Liberal Studies. At the graduate level, several interdisciplinary programs have been set up to satisfy the need for interdisciplinarity. As you can see, nearly half of the programs in the science discipline are interdisciplinary programs, implying a commitment to interdisciplinarity. In conclusion, interdisciplinary strategies in SNU are setting up multi-majors at the undergraduate level and establishing interdisciplinary programs at the graduate level. In terms of MIT, very similar to SNU, they offer interdisciplinary majors and minors to students. Students in the interdisciplinary degree programs are full members of both departments and/or of 2 schools, with 1 academic advisor from each department, and they can get certified interdisciplinary degrees. In regard to interdisciplinary minors at MIT, they represent collaborative efforts among distinct academic units and can be seen as a more flexible and informal way of interdisciplinarity. A particular curriculum that deserves our attention is the lab curriculum because it initiates to reshape an undergraduate education program by transferring research findings into undergraduate learning contents. Graduate interdisciplinary programs in MIT can be divided into 2 parts. Within university, interdisciplinary programs such as formal interdisciplinary degree programs and informal collaborations with faculty and students from various departments. Another is interinstitutional interdisciplinary programs like degree programs and training programs. Within the university, interdisciplinary degree programs will be further developed from master to PhD degree. Besides, the educational philosophy of the program assumes that it is the responsibility of PhD students to take the initiative to use the resources of MIT more generally to develop their own approach to science studies. So we can see here indicate a deep interdisciplinary collaborative culture. Aside from formal interdisciplinary programs, many graduate students engage in interdisciplinary research through formal and informal collaborations with faculty and students from various departments at MIT. While for the interinstitutional interdisciplinary program, MIT works collaboratively with other institutions such as Harvard, WHOI, National Institutes of Health, to provide students with degree programs as well as training programs. So in conclusion, the main strategies undertaken by MIT is multi-majors in undergraduate level and establishing interdisciplinary units with in graduate level to push forward interdisciplinarity. Finally, for the University of Tokyo, a key feature of the undergraduate education system is that students spend their first 2 years studying a broad spectrum of liberal arts courses in order to firmly acquire fundamental skills. Afterwards, they proceed to one of the departments in the 10 faculties for their third and fourth years in accordance with their preference, aptitude, and performance. As the president of the University of Tokyo said, the system is for cultivating a boundless enthusiasm for pursuing the truth. Therefore, in the undergraduate level, they adopt an open admission strategy and implement liberal arts education strategies around interdisciplinary themes education. Until senior division, students can enroll in the Department of Interdisciplinary Sciences to further their study in a more specialized method. At graduate level, interdisciplinary programs have been operated, such as the Department of Multidisciplinary Sciences. Overall, the strategies in the University of Tokyo is open admission and liberal arts education on graduate level, establishing interdisciplinary programs at the graduate level. At last, by comparing and contrasting interdisciplinarity at undergraduate level, we can conclude that the rationale behind it is authentic, student-centered, epistemology-based, representing an active inquiry-oriented culture that aims to deliver hands-on curriculum and strengthen action to the real world. Korea and US tend to take a multi-major approach toward interdisciplinarity with different forms though, whereas Japan adopts an open admission approach. In addition, in Korea and the US, the system tends to utilize one or more disciplines to enhance or facilitate learning in a primary discipline, while in Japan, they pay less emphasis on a primary discipline with a holistic understanding of the world and foster curiosity towards it. At graduate level, the rationale emphasis on interdisciplinary units to foster interdisciplinary study, while America has more emphasis on inter-institutional interdisciplinary programs, faculty, student research teams. What can be learned from the study is that the implementation of interdisciplinary initiatives is accomplished not only through changes in how institutional work is organized and the facilities in which the work is carried out, but also through concurrent shifts in the institutional culture related to interdisciplinary endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You have any question? Okay, please don't hesitate to ask any question, right? Okay, I think many of you are presenter for next presentation, so that you are a little bit nervous to ask to other presenters, right? Okay, let's go to presentation 3, social science area by Jo Hyosu. Please welcome Mr. Jo Hyosu.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'll share my screen.
Okay, we can see it.
Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it showing the first slide, right?
Sure, we can see your first slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to my presentation. I'm Zhao Xiaoshuai, a PhD student from Seoul National University. My study is focused on the field of social science. The cases are from China, Korea, Japan, and the US. Before moving to the main part of my presentation, I'd like to give a brief introduction about the study. Knowledge and research in social science are complex, practical, and localized. The real-world issues require knowledge to break down the disciplinary barriers. Therefore, the universities began to be required to reform the old structure. But in the process, university will face many challenges. This study is aims at that to understand the current interdisciplinary education in social science and the strategic differences in different universities. Okay, these universities are very representative in their respective countries. The analysis of the interdisciplinary strategies of these universities will focus on the aspects of education and research, and financial support policies will be also included in some cases. The analysis data mainly came from the open document of each university. Now, moving to the findings. Firstly, it's about Peking University. In the field of social science at Peking University, no universal interdisciplinary education mechanism has been found at the undergraduate level. However, we can still see its effort on interdisciplinary education. For example, the Yanfu class is a special education program. It aims to cultivate interdisciplinary talents in social science. To this end, the tutor system is applied. Also, the special funds have been set up to encourage students to conduct scientific exploration and participate in social practice. The graduate education of Peking University is closely connected with its research institutions and research projects, and it is practice-oriented. For example, they organize the Peking University Frontier Interdisciplinary Lecture Team and Peking University Doctoral Student Service Team. Through this, on the one hand, to provide service to the society, and on the other hand, to promote graduate students to learn more from the practice. In terms of research, Peking University has established the Academy for Advanced Interdisciplinary Studies. In this situation, there are 10 research centers. One of them is the Beijing Institute of Big Data Research, where social science is integrated in this institute. Not only that, there are many other research institutions specializing in interdisciplinary research. For example, the ISSS and the NSFC, these research institutions are centered on practical social issues and generally have specific functions and clear tasks. The purpose is to solve practical problems in China's social governance. In addition, most of these research institutions are operating graduate degree program. Regarding the funding policy, this study found that many funds are dedicated to promote a certain specific research project, and there are strict application conditions. Next, let's move into Korea. The case is Seoul National University. At the undergraduate level, Seoul National University promotes interdisciplinary education by providing a series of interdisciplinary courses. For example, the combined majors, linked majors, double major, and even student-directed major, they attach importance to cultivating students' creative thinking and encourage students to solve complicated problems based on new ideas. Although students have the opportunity to choose various courses from different departments, it seems that the traditional department structure has not been broken. At the graduate level, the designed interdisciplinary courses are not offered so many as the undergraduate level. Interdisciplinary education is mainly conducted through cooperative programs. Similarly, in terms of research, Seoul National University does not seem to have established a mechanism of interdisciplinary research on social science field, but to achieve it through some informal ways. And I want to notice that to promote the interdisciplinary education, the South Korea government has made a lot of efforts. In this process, universities are greatly influenced by the government and make adjustment and changes accordingly. Next, move to Japan. The case is Waseda University. At the undergraduate level, Waseda University promotes interdisciplinary education by implementing 3 policies, and the TIC program is a highlight of this university. It lays emphasis on the practical approach and view social issues with a Japanese perspective. In graduate level, it emphasizes higher education for the public and touches on the integration, interdisciplinary, and application. In Waseda University, the IASS is a place where a place of practical research for graduate students, and that this research result will be applied to the interdisciplinary education of the undergraduate students. So we can see it, the graduate level education is a link between the research and the undergraduate level education. In addition, there's 3 fundamental principles of IASS reflects its philosophy of open education and interdisciplinary education on the field of social science. No matter in education and research, Japan model, Asia-based, practical-oriented, has been emphasized again and again in this university. Next, let's move into the last case of Stanford University. Now, Stanford University's interdisciplinary education seems to be very mature. Here, the social science are integrated with the humanities, and there are a total of 23 departments and 25 interdisciplinary programs. These departments and the programs are in the same level. Many programs have their own independent research center and offer undergraduate or graduate degree programs. Here, the interdisciplinary education seems to be a universal educational philosophy, and it can be seen everywhere. For example, the doctoral training program of the Graduate School of Education. You can also see the examples of interdisciplinary education, like the SHIPS. The grant, to achieve its purpose, there are 2 approaches. One is disciplinary tradition-based, and the other is major issue-based. As I mentioned earlier, the Stanford University provides undergraduate and graduate education through the general department and also as well as through a number of research centers and research programs. There are also many other departments, labs, and independent labs and research institutes. As you can see, research and education are closely linked here. It is also worth noting that there are a lot of scholarships and research funds at Stanford to help students enhance their enhance interdisciplinary learning and promote interdisciplinary research. Now, moving to the last part of my presentation, it's about comparison and discussing. Each university has its own interdisciplinary development strategy, or we can summarize as follows, as showing in the table. If taking a brief comparison, we can know that firstly, although in both South Korea and China, the government plays a very important role. However, in the difference is that the Peking University's interdisciplinary education and research is oriented to meet the needs of the nation, while the Seoul National University promotes the interdisciplinary development under the influence of government, various reform projects and laws. Second, both Seoul National University and Stanford offer students a rich range of interdisciplinary majors and courses, but the latter's education system is significantly larger and more mature. Moreover, Stanford's strong financial support is unmatched by any other universities. Third, Waseda University's strategies is very Japanese. In particular, its research results can be effectively applied to the undergraduate level education, which is not found in other cases. Lastly, the efforts of these universities in interdisciplinary education have brought challenges to the traditional university governance model. I want to say that. For example, the Peking University and the Stanford University have established the masses of research institutions and centers. These institutions makes the organizational structure seems very complex and even confusing. Thus, the identities of professors and students may be challenged. Okay, thanks for your listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so far we have 3 presentations. Do you have any question for this presentation or including 3 or presentation? If you have, please let me know. Or comment, I would welcome comment for further academic development for my our graduate students.
Yes.
Let's say we have a Professor Sophia Ho here.
You want me to ask the question now, or we have to wait all of the present over?
At this point, please, I would welcome you.
Oh, okay. Well, well, it's a wonderful job for right now for all of you to present the paper. I think this is a wonderful. I think the preliminary study for doing the cross-nation and also the cross-university, I give you 2 thumbs up. It's a wonderful job to do. I just wondering, the first one is when we are doing the interdisciplinary program or even the double or dual or similarity degree, we always wonder about the knowledge loading because we are with the limited credit hours, but we have to put so many things inside. So who decides how many credits should be taken by the other programs, or and also who teach the program, who teach the courses? So I'm wondering, do you have any information about that? Because it always will decide whether such kind of the cooperation or the program will be success or not. Because we know all of the design are driven by the market or even the national requirement. But we have to think about the knowledge loading and also how do they really can fulfill, and who examine that? Who say, well, you deserve this dual or double degree? Who say you have so much knowledge or the practice skills you have? This is the question for, the presenter you had.
It's a great question, actually. And when we take the interdisciplinary approach, then students are overloaded, and also professors are also overloaded too. So how can we lessen our load for study or teaching from this by adopting this interdisciplinary approach? Okay. Do you have any idea about it? Andia was a faculty, is a faculty member in a university in Indonesia. So you may have some idea about how to reduce the teaching load for the professors who are involved in interdisciplinary education.
Okay, thank you, Professor Shin and Professor Sophie. But then I'm not sure that I'm under the capacity to answer who should be. But then based on my experience and during my preliminary research on this, I think it's like really different cases from, like, it really depends on how much autonomy that every university has, and particularly the department. So like in some cases, when the department is kind of like very new, they are more eager, and then they have also like newly fresh faculty members. And some other cases, like university are also like smart enough to actually recruit new faculty members, which have a very specific approach and interdisciplinarity. Because if you required like a more senior professors or like lecturers, they are not really happy about it because they have such a very like comfortable position in what they have done for a long time. So I think it depends on how also university leaders approach their faculty members, if they can be persuasive enough and giving enough incentives. And then also the programs is like interesting and can be promising, I think they will be more eager. But then in some other cases, when it seems like more mandatory things, I think that's gonna be a little bit hard thing to do. So at least from our case studies, particularly in UC Berkeley, the system seems more like well established, and then they really have like good approach as well by not asking the professor not to have dual affiliation. So actually it's not like they have more jobs to do, but then the loadings of the teachings that they have to do are spread it between the programs, but then the courses is similar. I think that's gonna be also a good options to do. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Andia. And okay, Sophie, would you like another question?
Another one is, have you observed that when they have different programs, they work together, that's the faculty will make the dialogue or the community with each other. Otherwise, if I join with your program, but we don't have any the conversation, and we even don't know how we can to merge or integrate those two different knowledge together and to become more practical in the world. So have you observed that part or see any document about that?
Anyone answer? Would you like to answer to this question from your case study in the US or in Japan or in Korea or in China? Anyone?
Maybe in our cases, there has no been like discussion on that, but maybe that's understandable because what we did is a website like document-based analysis. So if we do like more further approaches on like having interviews and research to like more like well-reported things, but then on the outside, it seems that like the programs giving a very good advertisement that like they will ensure the students have a vigorous discussions among the best faculty members in the program, which also have a very good research that they can provide a very good interdisciplinary education. That's so far from the marketing point of view side from the programs, but maybe Nikki has something to add on that. Thank you.
Nikki.
Like Angia said, through this research, I don't think it's possible to answer that question. However, I'm on a different research project where we're doing a literature review on different pedagogies. And through critical pedagogy, this is one of the issues that comes up. And a lot of the research that I'm reading is showing that you can work together, but to actually have